Hey, it's Dave with Some Days Today RV, and I've got some great modifications for Airstreams that could also be applied to other RV trailers to review with you today. And I'm really excited because I think these are some pretty unique ways to change the setup a bit on a couple of the systems of RVs. And I wouldn't share it with you unless I've put them in and I've tried them and that they really work. So, hey, let's go take a look. But before we do that, just remember to be sure to like and subscribe if you find this video to be of any help to you at all in your RV travels and with your systems and RV. So let's go out there and take a look. So here I've created a way to hold up the top of the Airstream where the lid that covers the propane tanks by just putting in some chain, as you can see here, a couple rivets, put it on both sides. I don't know about anybody else, but this lid always used to creak and moan and groan. I was afraid it was going to fall off. So I decided to put this reinforcement basically to keep and hold it in place while I do things down here in the LP propane compartment. A couple things you'll see. First of all, the highlight of this particular system change that I did were the gas stops. And although propane tanks, when they're off or turned off, should hold keep the propane from leaking, that is not always true, and the valves can potentially leak. And what the gas stop does is create a barrier, a measurable barrier that will, if anything happens to the system inside the trailer, it'll shut it down completely, totally stop the propane from leaving the tanks and entering your system to a potential break area or whatever has happened that could then cause a fire or explosion. These are specially made for Airstreams because of the shroud here that goes around the tanks. Not all RVs have that, so the regular systems will work. I think they're a great investment and provide a high level of safety. And secondarily to that safety, actually security of these tanks, you can see where I put in the padlock. You can't lock the top of the shroud. That's against the law because people may need to access the tanks and actually turn them off to prevent an explosion. But you can put a padlock on the fastening area here, so these tanks will stay here and not be taken by somebody when you're out on a long day trip or something of that sort. They are of high value. They also have the propane in them, and there's some people that really like to get their hands on these things, sort of like generators, same sort of deal. So this next modification I'm going to show you has to do with the water heater. And I saw an example of this done actually on an Atwood water heater, which is what Airstream uses. And I thought, wow, that's really great, because every time you go and empty the tank, you're supposed to replace the plug. Atwood water heaters are aluminum, so they don't have the rod like Suburban does that collects hard chemicals and things of that sort. But you're supposed to replace that plug, and that's a cost. It's like $7-8 every time you empty it. For the winter or whatever, you've got another cost involved. So I saw this little trick where, as you can see, and these parts can be gotten, by the way, at Home Depot. You can see what I did is I put a riser in here and then attached a line like you'd use on a toilet, basically, or a sink, and then put on a valve that is a shutoff valve. And found these really neat. I want to point this out too. I think this is important because the video I saw before, this was dangling sort of loosely, and I can imagine going down the road and that being a problem. But Command Strips puts out these aluminum hooks, basically, that then you can apply and put in place. Holds really well, holds up to 4 pounds, I believe, of force or hanging weight. And it just clips right in there, and then you're good to go when you're ready to drained the tank out, then let me back this up a little bit. Then down she comes into a bucket or whatever, and you can empty the tank very easily. The one thing you do have to do is do the release valve here for the high pressure release valve, so that air can come in behind the water that's escaping in the valve, drain valve down here. So you just want to make sure, be careful with this. You don't want it to leak on you after you've finished draining the tank and cleaning it out. But it's a pretty nifty setup. It works great, empties the tank very quickly, and I don't have to buy a new plug every time I do it. So hopefully this is something you will consider in your system for your Airstream. So if you want some other tips and tricks, be sure and watch this set of videos in the playlist, and I think you'll find some great information as well. Take care, and we'll see you down the road.